So today I wanted to make a bit of a different video. I usually talk about news and movies and games, sometimes make some creative videos in terms of re-edits and things like that, but it's a pretty dry season right now with games and movies together when it comes to news and trailers and movies to review and things like that. And just by the way, I did see Baby Driver recently. It came out pretty late in my country and I thought it was amazing, so my quick review for that is an A-. It had some minor flaws, but I loved it. Anyway, so now I want to get into my 3 prized Blu-rays, and that can include box sets or a single Blu-ray in itself. So let's dive deep. Now this might sound corny but the first thing I wanted to get out of the way was something that's more historically sort of important rather than what I enjoy personally. I mostly got this for the historical significance of what it is in film because I do love film. So here it is. It is the ultimate James Bond collection. Now, I must admit, this front cover really isn't that good. There's the side and all that. So yeah, there's the front cover and all that. But when you take this little sleeve off, you've got a much better cover in my opinion. I'm not sure how well the camera does it justice, but it's basically got all the names of the movies along the side here. And if we take this all off, we have an art book. And the art book really solidifies to me how important these movies are in history. Like, cause it's got, it's just got everything you need. It's got alternative posters in different languages explaining the reason why they were done differently to the American posters, things like that. And it's got it for pretty much every film up to Spectre, which I really like. For example, here's this Agent 007 I Ilden for, what was it? Scandinavia, I think. This one here, look at that. Isn't that cool? I think that's pretty cool. But then we have these, and these, which I haven't actually showed you yet, is these different box sets. Which first one I think is 1962 to 1977. Dr. No on the front there. And I've only watched Dr. No of this box set actually. Then we have, what would it be? 1979 to 2002, I think. Yes, I'm correct. 1979 to 2002, which has the Pierce Brosnan movies and other people in it, I think. I've only watched GoldenEye out of this, and Die Another Day. Die Another Day used to be my favorite Bond movie when I was a kid, and then I guess my brain developed. It's really not as good as I remember it being. It's pretty terrible, but I guess it had potential. Maybe that's why I liked it as a kid. I don't know. And then we have the 2006 to 2015 with Mads Mikkelsen, who was the first villain in the reboots of James Bond. Well, they weren't really reboots because they were meant to be James Bond when he's old, so it's the same James Bond. And honestly, this one is my favorite to watch the movies from. I like all the movies across the board here. Now, the only one that's missing is Spectre. It has a spot for Spectre, but this is just like a cardboard thing. I mainly just watched from this, but granted, I haven't watched every movie from these other ones, and I really do need to get around to doing that. But again, these are just for historical significance as a lover of film, more than because I want to watch them a lot. And I have to say, the fact that I get an art book, special features, all the movies in Blu-ray, and nice covers for it, I think it was a pretty good buy. Now let's move on to the next one. So the next one is a lot more of a passion thing for me, and it's something that isn't historic yet, but will become historic. Now, unfortunately, this box set is a little bit banged up. Mostly just because of the bold quality, I think, but it is a very good box set, actually. So it is the Dark Knight Trilogy. Now, my favorite thing about this box set, just in terms of the way it's done, is this little etching here. You can actually feel the letters, you can feel the bat symbol, and also at the back, it actually looks a lot cleaner, in my opinion. So that's great. And one thing I don't like is they put these little promo things. You see this little thing here? And now if I want to try and tear this off, it's going to tear off the skin of the actual front of this cover. But if we slide this out of the way, then we get something truly cool. Look, there's the art book on the back. And, well, I guess this would be the back of the actual box set. Let's start with the art book, because that's just what we've been doing, and the art book is really great. So, I think it says, you must become fear or something like that. Yeah, it does. And it's got all the villains from the movies in there. And it's got cool things like the parent's death, which we've all seen a million times. It's got, like, just cool tidbits like that. It's got concept art. Like, where is this concept art? like there. And apparently this was all taken from a bigger version of the book from the New York Times and stuff like that. And there was a really cool picture in here, which I'm trying to find right now, which was essentially, so the person who played Catwoman, her stunt double, and her son, like with the bat pod in their backyard. Yeah, there it is. And I don't know how visible that is, but it looks pretty cool to me. It's literally just her and her son staring at the bat pod in their backyard. I think that's pretty darn cool. I really like the way it's presented. Look at that. It's really great artwork there. And if we open up just the first bit, we have this cool Batman thing of Batman just standing there by the sort of, what would you call it? By his almost mansion, staring out of the window. And the first one has special features and the movie in one disc, which I never quite understood, because all the other ones have movies and special features in like separate discs. But I guess that's I don't know why that was done that way. Maybe because the first movie is in lower definition because it's older than the other two. Notice, if I were to take out the CDs, I'd have a really cool bat symbol. The special features were all pretty lengthy. Probably not as lengthy as if I got, like, say, the steelbook of each one, but, like, for each movie respectively, I had about 2 hours of special features for each movie, which is still pretty good in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure some of it was Blu-ray exclusive, so that was really cool. So that's Dark Knight, and I love the Dark Knight trilogy. It's my favorite superhero trilogy because it's actually very, very grounded in reality to a degree. Obviously, there is some breakaways from reality, and it's just very well written as compared to most superhero movies, which can be okay written, but like not like a masterpiece like the Dark Knight trilogy. And I know people like to rag on Dark Knight Rises, but I actually like it. It has problems, yes, but for me it's the most inspiring of the films because Bruce Wayne goes through this whole journey of being coming back up and breaking down and coming back up again. I just like that. So that's Dark Knight trilogy out of the way. Let's get on to the last one. And the last one is none other than the Star Wars Force Awakens Steelbook. Now, before I get into how amazing the Steelbook is, well, it just feels so nice and cold on the skin. Don't know what the hell that was all about. But yeah, so it's got Kylo on the front, which is fine. Well, I guess it's the front depending on where you decide to open it from. It's got Phasma on the back. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Phasma being on this because she hardly did anything in the movie. It should be Kylo with his lightsaber ignited like it is, and then Rey with her lightsaber ignited as is. Well, technically Luke's lightsaber, but you know what I'm saying. But all that set aside, really good quality in terms of just what's on the front of the Steelbook. And if we open it, we get these 2 discs, one special features, one the actual movie. Now, what's great is that the Steelbook edition of the bonus features actually comes with some extra, like, sort of special features. I think one extra featurette that you don't get without the Steelbook. And if we take out both discs, then we have actually a really well printed version of that iconic shot from the Episode 7 trailer. And that's a great segue into another reason why I got this Steelbook, because it's historic. It's the return of Star Wars, you know, after, I guess, the prequels, but it's the return of the way Star Wars was. And don't get me wrong, I like the prequels. They did a lot right, but they also did a bucket load of things wrong. And I can't wait to get Episode 8 as a Steelbook. I'm busy looking for Episode 4, 5, and 6 as Steelbooks, but I just can't find them. Honestly, Steelbooks are a lot more durable. That's another thing that's great about them. And also, this is not only passion to have this, it's also going to become a very historic thing, in my opinion, to have this in your collection. So yeah, I am very happy about that. And those were the 3 things. 2 box sets, 1 just movie on its own. And, one historic, and the others will become historic. But the James Bond is probably the most significant in the sense that it's showing 50 years of filmmaking of a franchise that somehow people haven't gotten tired of yet, which I find pretty remarkable. I actually want to know if you guys have any favorite Blu-rays or DVDs or even VHS tapes or laser discs that you hold like dear Tell me in the comments below and we can discuss that, because I love discussing that stuff, especially when it's stuff that will end up like costing a lot of money in like 50 years, but you would never sell it in a million years, you know what I mean? But yeah, guys, this has been Randy Andy. You know what to do if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.